Hi everyone, and welcome back to my series on how to make an action RPG in Godot 4. In this episode we will look at how we can handle collisions between our player and the trees in our tilemap. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you want more content like this. First, let's go to our player scene. Now we're finally ready to take care of this warning we got when we first created our player scene. This node has no shape, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. Consider adding a collision shape 2D or collision polygon 2D as a child to define its shape. This is a good hint for what we need to do before our player can collide with not only our trees, but really anything in our world. And now, go add a collision shape 2D as a child node to the root of our player scene. Okay, so this created a new warning. A shape must be provided for collision shape 2D to function. Please create a shape resource for it. A shape isn't created with a new node. Instead, it's a resource we can create from the inspector menu. Click where it says empty next to shape. There's a list of shapes we can choose from. Which one to choose will vary from use case to use case. But for now, let's use a rectangle shape 2D for our player. Okay, this is far too big for our player, but we can easily click and drag to change its size and position. How much of the body the shape should cover depends on the game. Feel free to experiment with this once we're done setting up collision with the trees. Some games will use a shape that covers the whole body like this. But then we won't be able to walk in front of the trees because the head will then collide with the tree we're trying to walk in front of. Instead, I try to make the shape cover the feet and the legs. For taller sprites, I would only cover the feet and then the lower part of the legs. At the collision properties of the player's root node, we can find the layer and mask properties. The layer property tells us that this object exists on these layers, and the mask property tells us that this object will collide with items that exists on these layers. This might seem confusing at first, but can be quite handy later on. But for now, we'll just leave both at 1. Now let's create a collision shape for our tree. Go to the tileset menu and make sure the correct tileset is selected. Then zoom in and select the tree tile you want to add a collision shape to. Under the physics properties, we can now select the physics layer we just created before. The collision shape is located down here where it says polygons. To create a new polygon, we first select the Add Polygon tool here, and then click to add vertices to our new shape. You can also click and drag vertices around after you've created the shape, or click on an edge between two vertices to add a new vertex. Once you're happy with your shape, then go test out the game again. Now our player is colliding with the trees, and we can no longer walk right through the trunk of each tree. But because we only made the collision shape for our tree cover the bottom of the tree, we can still walk behind it. I think it seems wrong that we can walk over these animated flowers here. So let's go check out how to add a collision shape to an animated tile. Select the tileset with the flower animation and zoom in and select the flower tile. Instead of adding the vertices ourselves, we can press the F key to create a shape that covers the entire tile. I think it seems a bit weird that the pixels just over the flowers are blocked. You can solve this by making the collision shape smaller, of course. But we cannot make the shape move with the tile animation. The way I'm solving this is by moving the flowers to our tree layer, which is Y-sorted, and change the collision shape so it doesn't cover the top of the tile. This way our player cannot walk over the flowers, but can walk behind the top of the leaves. I really like this solution here, and I feel it also adds more depth to the scene. But please feel free to experiment with this to find a solution you like. And that's all for this episode. Next time we will be looking at cameras. The game you see here is my own project where I use a camera similar to the one in the old Zelda games. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you want more content like this. Bye!